Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ.com's pay-per-view predictions. Another week, another WWE pay-per-view. We have WWE No Mercy from the brand new arena in Sacramento, California. I am being joined by two guests today. First, we have the white meat mofo, David Payne. How you doing today, David?
How's it going, Aaron?
I'm doing good, and we're also being joined by good old JM, Jeff Meacham. How are you doing today, Jeff?
I feel bad. I get good old JM still, and Dave gets white meat mofo. That kind of seems unbalanced.
Yeah, he's got a nice brand new nickname, and you have the same nickname we've been using for the past, 14 years now?
14 years.
Poor Jeff.
This month, actually, 14 years.
Yeah, we're pretty much on the 14-year anniversary of when XM first started Extreme Mayhem with you and Mike back in the day. So we've been doing this for a very long time, and we've been covering a lot of pay-per-views, but it seems like we've never been covering more pay-per-views than right now with pretty much 2 pay-per-views a month from WWE.
Well, it's just so funny. The first pay-per-view we ever covered was the fallout from No Mercy.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just crazy how the circle comes full circle, so to speak.
Right. All right, guys. So we have 6 matches for this pay-per-view. We have a pre-show as usual, but as of this video, there has not been an official pre-show match announced. But I'm assuming that Kurt Hawkins' debut will be the pre-show match, unless they decide to throw Nikki Bella versus Carmella in the pre-show match. I'm guessing it's going to be Kurt Hawkins. What do you guys think about the Kurt Hawkins character, and what do you think about his debut? I'll start with you, Jeff.
I like they brought him back. I think it's good for Kurt Hawkins. I think that he worked his butt off to really get himself back in a position to be rehired by WWE. That's what it's all about. When these guys get let go, these guys get fired or whatever. They talked about on the Ric Flair show a lot with Cody Rhodes, the fact that they're going to take this time away from WWE to really work hard and really get themselves back into a situation where they're going to be rehired. Kurt Hawkins is a great example of that. Kurt Hawkins really went to the Indies for the last he's been gone, and really worked his butt off to get back into the WWE picture. As far as the character, they totally stole Tyson Kidd and his gimmick from him, is the fact checker guy.
And Chuck Norris.
What's that?
Chuck Norris.
Oh yeah, Chuck Norris too. What I'm saying is, they were doing that with Tyson Kidd, where everything was about facts on Twitter, and he was before he got hurt. And because he can't compete anymore, they gave that part of the gimmick to Kurt, and hopefully Hawkins can really run with it.
Right. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I like Hawkins. I'm glad he's getting another shot. But I actually think in today's WWE, it's almost harder to have been in it in the past and to get back. Because once they cut you, it's like, well, we find somebody new. We'll find somebody else from the talent pool, from NXT or from the Indies. So for him to get another shot, that's great for him. And, Raw can use all the help they can get right now. The less cheesy segments and the more matches they can fill, the better it is. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not really a fan of this gimmick up to this point. I just do not think it's going to succeed. I have a feeling it's going to flop. He's going to go out there and the crowd's going to do the what chants at him, and they'll chant for CM Punk. What's that noise in the background?
Not for me.
Not for me.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. Hopefully that doesn't keep happening. But yeah, I mean, my gut feeling is this gimmick's going to flop, but I hope it works out for him. This is his second chance in WWE, and I think it's safe to assume he will win the match regardless of who he's facing.
Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead. Yeah. There's no question that they're not going to build him up, only to have him job right away in the very first pay-per-view outing. That's kind of ridiculous.
Unless they're completely out of their minds, which you never know.
Which wouldn't surprise me also.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, you're putting your career there in the hands of all these writers, and if they give you a crappy gimmick, that could be it for you, and that's unfortunate. So hopefully he'll go out there and make the best of it, kind of like Cody Rhodes did. Cody Rhodes made the best of what he had, but it wasn't good enough for WWE.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the main card. We have Nikki Bella versus Carmella. Apparently, it's just going to be a regular match. There was speculation that it would be a no DQ match, just like NoDQ.com, but they're just going to have a nice normal match. Now on SmackDown, we saw Nikki Bella chase Carmella out of the arena, and Carmella has gotten the best of Nikki Bella over the past few weeks, which makes me think that Nikki will be picking up the win at the pay-per-view. Nikki is really the bigger star of the two, and I think they're going to move her up the ladder, possibly to challenge Becky at some point. Jeff, I'll start with you. What's your prediction for this match?
I'm going to go completely opposite. Well, to a certain extent, I guess. Nikki is the big star right now, and she has Total Bellas debuting as we tape this. It's tonight. So they really want to get behind Nikki and really want to make sure they get all the plugs they can for Total Bellas. However, adversity builds character. They've always said that in any form of life. And for Nikki to have continually be harped on by Carmella and then go in Sunday and lose will not only make for a good thing for Carmella to get a win over the longest reigning Divas champion in history, unless you count Charlotte's combined reign, whatever. And not only that, it'll build TV for Total Bellas if they continue with that show, or Total Divas going forward.
Interesting. What do you think, David?
Yeah, that's not actually a bad prediction right there. It's saying that they want to stretch it out, make her, Nikki Bella the focal point of, like, I'm chasing this title. Meanwhile, she's got this show she's promoting. That could work. I don't know. I'm just going to say they're going to give it to her. They're going to give her the win. And is it just me, or did her bottoms shrink and get smaller? It seems like her bottoms look smaller. It's like the Titus O'Neil effect. I don't know. But either way, yeah, she's probably going to win. That's my guess.
If we're focusing on the size of her bottom wear, then that's okay by me.
Yeah, it's fine by me too, but I thought I just pointed out anyway.
Cheers.
All right. All right, let's move on here. Next match, we have Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. Some very interesting build-up for this match. 2 weeks ago, Randy Orton was going around backstage, and Bray was trying to trap Randy. He would have Eric Rowan behind a door, and they're doing all these goofy skits to build up Orton versus Wyatt. And then this past week, Orton locked Bray Wyatt in a storage locker, and Bray was able to talk to Sister Abigail. And through Sister Abigail's magical powers, apparently, Bray was able to teleport out of the locker. So I have to ask you first, Jeff, what do you think about the build-up to this match? And do you think Bray Wyatt will bounce back and no longer be the eater of pinfalls, or do you think that Randy Orton will pick up yet another win here?
I think Randy Orton forgot to pay his public storage bill. That's what happened there. Oh. That was so hokey. That even for WWE, that was really, really bad on SmackDown. I watched kind of I was fast forwarding through a good part of SmackDown this week, but the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt segments are really, really goofy, even for 2016 WWE.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just bad. As far as the match goes, I hope beyond hope that Bray will no longer, as you said, Aaron, be the eater of pinfalls or submissions or whatnot. But Randy Orton has to get his win back from SummerSlam that he got obliterated for.
Exactly.
So for me, I'm thinking they're going to give it to Randy, which sucks.
What about you, David? What do you think?
Yeah, I had guessed that a while back too. Like, they're trying to protect Orton. He's their guy. He's like SmackDown's, number one baby face, if you will. And who knows? Orton goes back and forth so much from heel to baby face. Who knows? But they're going to protect him. And eventually, it's kind of sad for Bray Wyatt because they come up with all these elaborate storylines and these weird hokey things. And then he just goes out there and loses. And to me, he's just basically a filler rivalry for Orton until they have Lesnar come back. That's my opinion.
Or when they put Orton versus AJ. I think, it's
right.
Probably going to be AJ versus Orton later in the year, maybe November, December. That seems to be the next big feud in WWE. So
yeah, I could see that. And AJ would give him a hell of a match, too.
Yeah, so I'm thinking Orton will win here because they're going to set up Orton versus AJ Styles. What I'd like to see from Bray Wyatt is maybe an actual proper face turn. They did it back in April, and then he got hurt, and then they just brought him back as a random heel again. I think a face turn would be able to give Bray Wyatt a renewed lease on life in WWE. So that's what I would like to see. Just have Orton beat him, and then just do a new direction with Bray Wyatt's character.
I agree with that.
All right.
I honestly don't know if Bray Wyatt as a full-on babyface would work, though.
Well, just like The Undertaker. The Undertaker was this scary heel, and then they turned him face. And, the fans have been wanting to cheer for Bray Wyatt. They have the big entrance with the lights and everything. Go ahead.
The difference is, in 1991 and 92, it was organic. It was, they wanted to cheer for him anyway. Now, they've been cheering for him, just like they've been booing Cena for 10 years. They've been booing Roman for 2 years. WWE refuses to give in. He's already a babyface anyway. He gets more cheers anyway. He's just not officially a babyface. Like Roman's not officially a heel, or Cena's not officially a heel, but he's not a bad guy. But it's a very different world than 25 years ago when Undertaker debuted.
So I still say bring in Bo Dallas and let the New Age Brothers of Destruction happen. Screw it.
There you go. I like that one. That's good.
Yeah, they've already apparently given up on Bo's push, so why not?
Yeah.
Something to do.
Yeah, I mean, so Jeff, you would rather see like maybe Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt form a team than Bray Wyatt going babyface?
If it comes down to Bray turning babyface or forming a team with his brother, I'd form a team with his brother. I don't know what they would do, but it'd be something different for both of them.
The Eaters of Pinfalls.
There you go.
Plural. Yeah.
The Eaters of Falls.
Yeah. All right, so next up we have the tag team titles. We have Heath Slater and Rhino defending against the Usos. And the Usos, of course, just turned heel. Now, I've talked about in my videos how I feel the new champions should be established. However, I feel like Slater and Rhino are not going to be long-term champions. And the reason they won in the first place was because Heath Slater got really over doing this character where he's not drafted to a brand and he's trying to work his way back in. And the fans really got behind Slater, and WWE decided to strike the iron when it was hot and put the titles on Slater and Rhino. But I really feel like the Usos need the win at this point, and I think the Usos would be better as the tag team champions. You can have Slater and Rhino try to beat them. You can have the Hype Bros, not brothers. You can have the Hype Bros challenge them. And then, of course, you can eventually have American Alpha face the Usos and win the tag team titles. So to me, it just feels like Slater and Rhino are transitional champions. What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Jeff.
Totally agree. Like we talked about The Undertaker, the Slater situation was pure organic. It's all that was. He didn't get drafted, so they wanted to see what they would do with him, and the people just got behind him en masse. They all just rallied behind Slater and really got into the whole thing. And WWE, like you said, tried to strike it while it was hot and work with it, and it's worked so far. However, like you said, Rift, it's all about long-term stability in any division, whether it's the tag teams or the U.S. Intercontinental or the Cruiserweight or the World Championships. You've got to have a team that's going to be champions and be dominant champions, not Demolition long or New Day long, because that's just ridiculous in this day and age. But let's say the Usos win Sunday, which I think they will. Then they go into maybe as far as the Royal Rumble before American Alpha builds themselves back up and beats them then.
Right. Makes sense to me. What do you think, David?
Yeah, I think that Slater and Rhino are transitional champions, and I think the Usos will win, and I think the Usos will be transitional champions for a few months until finally American Alpha, they feel they're ready. I mean, everybody wanted them to be champions off the bat, and then they gave them that injury thing, and it's because I think they just want to protect American Alpha. Let them get a few matches under their belt first and have the casual crowd see them.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it might be actually a mistake to put the titles on American Alpha too soon, because you could risk a possible backlash where these guys are getting pushed too quickly to the casual audience. I think it's better to have them chase for the titles and try to work their way to the top rather than just come in and immediately win the titles and risk fans possibly turning on them. So I do feel it's best to have them slowly work their way towards the top. So, yeah, I think we're all pretty much in agreement that the Usos will win the titles here and have a decent run as heel champions for the next several months. All right, next up we have the Women's Championship match, the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch defending her title against Alexa Bliss. Now, in this case, I feel Becky is going to be a long-term champion. She won the title last month, and I see Alexa just being a challenger for her. You have Natalya. I'm guessing we'll see Becky Lynch versus Natalya for the women's title, and maybe even eventually Becky versus Nikki Bella. I'm guessing that Becky will retain here. Jeff, what do you think?
Becky's the long-term champion we just talked about. She was drafted first by SmackDown by Bryan and Shane. She was the first woman to be drafted to the brand, and she's definitely going to be a long-term in a long-term position to be the top female on SmackDown, at least till they get somebody that they want to replace her on the heel side of things. Oh, they might turn her. Who knows? But Becky is the lady who is going to be the long-term champion. And Alexa, however much I like Alexa Bliss, and I am a big fan of Alexa, all the way going back to her Sparkle Princess days on NXT, but she's not the girl. Becky is the girl for now.
All right. What do you think, David?
Yeah, there's a lot of new blood in the SmackDown's women division, and I think they would probably want to build whomever the next champion's going to be, just like we were talking about with American Alpha. You don't want to do it too soon. So, yeah, I see her winning, and Becky Lynch will probably be the champion until Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, maybe even longer, until they build somebody else that could, dethrone her.
Right. All right, so we're all in agreement once again that Becky Lynch will retain the title here. All right, next up we have a match that I am really looking forward to. We have The Miz versus Dolph Ziggler for the IC title, and Dolph Ziggler is putting his career on the line. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I've loved the build-up for this match. I think the promos have been tremendous between the two of them, and I really enjoyed the segment on SmackDown. I loved the video package that The Miz showed of Dolph Ziggler and all the embarrassing moments. And then to top it all off, you had Miz bringing out the Spirit Squad members, Kenny and Mikey. And then, of course, Dolph Ziggler super kicking his two former partners. I thought that was an awesome segment. And I'm really looking forward to this match. But the question is, will Dolph Ziggler actually be retiring? Or is this just a setup for Dolph Ziggler to finally get his big win after losing time in and time out? What do you think, Jeff?
You and I talked about this on No DQ Live last week when you came into town. We were taping in front of the store. It's so hard to call because it's like you said, it's been so well built on both sides of the equation. You've got Dolph Ziggler, who looks like he may retire, looks like he may not. You've got, The Miz, who is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of the 2010s for sure.
Modern day HTM, Honky Tonk Man.
I think he's better than Honky by leaps and bounds. That's another story entirely. But you've got two guys who are really at their apex. I mean, Dolph has had many apexes, let's be honest, but he really seems to be in a groove here more than he's been in a very long time.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Miz, who is just, he doesn't get near enough freaking credit for the last 6 years of his career. He's that good. I think that what I said on No DQ Live last week is going to hold true. It sucks, but I think they want, and I think Dolph even wants to transition into the office. And I think they're going to give him a hell of a match here, maybe the match of his career, but still come up just a snare short.
Interesting. What about you, David? What do you think?
Yeah, I went back and forth on this, and when I did my video, I was pointing out the fact that a couple weeks ago, when Ziggler came out there and cut a promo, he looked emotional. It didn't look like acting, like he really, so I was kind of going back and forth on this. Could this be a renewed push for him? Could he win the title, or is he really, calling it a career? I mean, I don't want to say he's an elder statesman, but he's been there for a while now, and he's had a few renewed pushes and different gimmicks, and I agree with you guys. I think this is the best, the best he's been in a long time in terms of his promos. And Miz is great too, but I've always said with Miz personally, he's like an A promo guy, but a C wrestler, but you're still a B+ player then if you kind of add that up. So he's done a good job. And I actually, in my video, I said that Ziggler would lose, and this would be the way for him to write him off. And there's been reports that, maybe he is going to move on to other things. So who knows? I'm just going to go on a limb and say he's going to lose, and it's going to be a great match. And it's fitting that his best friend would be the one to do it, and we've seen that in the past before, like with Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair, So, yeah. And by the way, the Spirit Squad, do you guys remember a Raw back in like 2005 when the Spirit Squad went against the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
They both did a nip-up, right? But Marty Jannetty got it up and Shawn didn't. I felt so bad for him. I'm like, oh, man,
yeah, that was funny.
The Rockers,
I remember,
man.
that was funny.
But I figured I'd just bring that up.
Well,
hey, there you go.
I think that Ziggler's going to win. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense for Ziggler to lose after all this build-up. It feels to me like he's going to get his big win here. And of course, you want to believe that he might actually retire. And that's why I think WWE has done such a good job, because there's so much doubt about it. And people think, well, maybe he might actually retire. To me, that shows that WWE's done a really good job with the storytelling. But I do think Ziggler's going to win here and get his big win. And I just think if he was going to retire, they would do this a different way, whether either he would be a heel or they just wouldn't have played up all the times that he's gone embarrassed and lost if he was really going to retire. That's just my feeling on it. So I'm going to go with Ziggler to win. But, this match could really go either way. I mean, that's what's so great about it, that WWE's really created the doubt, and we're not sure what's going to happen with it.
Yeah, usually they never pull the wool over my eyes, but this time it could go either way,
They've really got me thinking here, like, what's going to happen on Sunday. This is easily the match I'm looking forward to the most.
Me too.
Yeah, I agree. But the main event, I think, will be a great match. I'm also very intrigued about how the main event is going to play out. We have AJ Styles, the face that runs the place, defending the title against Dean Ambrose and John Cena. And I have to say, again, like the IC title match, I think that the promos have been really strong. John Cena on Talking Smack cut a great promo. And then on SmackDown, AJ saying that Cena could not even be in the same conversation as Ric Flair. And then Dean Ambrose getting in John Cena's face and saying that it's because of the politics that John Cena has been on top for so long. I mean, really strong promo work from all three competitors. I mean, I love the build-up for this match. And the big question is, I do not see Ambrose winning. I mean, first of all, the fact that he ended SmackDown holding up the belt, and to me, it would just erase everything WWE's done with AJ for Ambrose to win the title again. Doesn't make sense to me at all for Ambrose to win. The question is, will AJ retain or will Cena win the title? Now, I think what might happen is one of two things. Either AJ wins or Cena wins and gets the 16th title reign and then loses it immediately back to AJ on SmackDown, because Cena is going to be taking time off to do Season 2 of American Grit. Unless WWE decides to have Cena as champion and just not have him appear on television until the next pay-per-view. But I think that's unlikely. I think it's more likely that either Cena wins it and then loses it right back to AJ, so WWE can have Cena tie the record, or AJ just flats out wins, maybe beats Ambrose, or even maybe he beats Cena and Cena says, I have to step away for a while and rethink my career and do a storyline like that. So Jeff, I'll start with you. What do you think about this match and the outcome?
I like your scenario at the end there, Aaron. I think that Cena loses outright to AJ. Ambrose won't be part of the equation this time. He will be during the match, but not during the finish. And then Cena steps away. I can't honestly believe that he would have Cena, that whoever is making that final decision, Vince, have Cena win the 16th championship only to have him lose it the following Tuesday for a 2-day reign as a 16-time world champion. Granted, Flair's 16th world championship was about 20 minutes on Nitro, but that was WCW. It was a big difference. I don't think if they're going to have Cena be the guy to beat the man, if you will, I would have it be at a WrestleMania and not necessarily beat the record, but definitely tie the record. And then Flair can come out on his show and be like, well, by the way, I'm 21 time actually. Because it's true, he is.
Yeah, except for all those times that we're not recognized officially.
You and I, Aaron, you and I have gone back and forth on this many times in 14 years, that there's documented proof of each of those wins.
Yeah. So
I think it's horse shit. Excuse me, sorry for swearing, but I think it's ridiculous that they don't recognize all of them.
Yeah. All right. What do you think, David?
Well, yeah, Jeff's got a point. Obviously, if they're gonna honor Cena and make this whole big hoopla about him winning the 16-time champ, it ain't gonna be for a couple day or couple week run. They're gonna do it at a major pay-per-view. That's my guess.
You would think that.
You would think that, but they've, when AJ first got into WWE, I heard reports from people that work within WWE that told me that Vince was never really high on him, and since then, they've come a long way. They've really done the right thing with AJ. And in fact, AJ Styles, to me, he's always been one of the best wrestlers in the world. But now his promo work has just been phenomenal lately. It's really gotten better, And speaking of promos, I thought the whole thing with the three of them, when Ambrose called Cena a suck ass, I thought that was pretty funny. And, just kind of like a half a shoot there a little bit with Cena. But Yeah, I think the build-up for this match is great, but I anticipate AJ winning, and I think AJ will keep the belt for a long time, at least until Royal Rumble. That's what I'm thinking.
Which is what I think should happen. I think AJ should win. However, I've said this many times. It's hard to bet against Cena, and Cena is still their top star regardless of what he's been doing lately. He's still the guy in WWE, and I could see. I just have this suspicion that Cena is going to win. But the thing is, I could see Cena pinning Ambrose to win the title, and AJ can say, "Hey, I was not beaten," and that sets up a rematch. AJ wins the title from Cena, and Cena goes off to do American Grit. So I'd like to see AJ win, but my official prediction is going to be John Cena. I'm taking a chance here and picking Cena to win and tie Ric Flair's record, and he'll lose the title right away back to AJ.
Woo! Maybe if that's the case, Aaron, I'm not saying I'm changing my pick because I'm going to stick with AJ, but if your pick is correct, maybe Cena ties the record with this win that only lasts for 2 days, and then when he breaks the record, it's at the pay-per-view, like I said, WrestleMania.
Exactly, because he's just tying the record right now. He's not breaking the record. So
right.
He could
do you guys think it'll go beyond the tie and they'll actually have him break it, or do you think he'll end his career tied with Ric Flair?
I think he's gonna break it. Honestly,
he needs to. As much of a big deal as they made out of tying the record, he's got to break it.
What does JBL always say? Records are meant to be broken.
Well, JBL says a lot of things these days.
Yeah. He's such a big Cena supporter, even though he's supposed to be the heel color commentator.
Because you know what? I don't like Bradshaw's current style of commentary, but he shows respect to the guys that have got it done, and he knows better than anybody what John Cena can do in that ring.
And I also think it's a little bit of Vince too, and that's the sign that Cena's still the guy in WWE. You know, he's protected. In the commentary, they protect him, and even JBL puts over Cena. So,
because think about it, both those analysts have had beef with Cena over the years.
Yeah,
you've got Otunga, who was with Nexus, and you've got JBL.
Yeah. And just the fact that American Grit, all this talk about Cena having to do the TV show, and I know how WWE is. They like to throw off people, and their attitude is, since everybody thinks, oh, Cena's doing the TV show, he's definitely not winning. They're going to have him win and somehow work around the TV show if they need to,
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
So, I just have this feeling Cena's going to win, but I'd like to see AJ retain, like I said.
So would I. That's what I'm saying.
All right, so that'll wrap it up for our thoughts. Jeff, you want to get any plugs out?
Twitter / Jeff Meacham. I'm gonna try to do a show today that kind of combines Talk Wrestling After the Bell. I'm gonna do TV review of Raw and SmackDown to answer some of y'all's questions. So we'll see if that gets done today. If not, tomorrow.
All right, cool. And David, any plugs?
Twitter, SmartMark420. If you want to ask me questions, I should be doing another installment of Power of Pain probably sometime at the end of this week. So I usually try to watch the Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and then TNA, and then I'll usually give my thoughts for that week. So look forward to that.
Watch the TNA on purpose. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I am nowadays. So, and thanks for having me on again, Aaron.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for being on today, and thank you to everyone for watching this. If you enjoyed the video, please share it on Facebook or Twitter. Hopefully the quality was good for you guys, and we'll be back next time for more. See you next time.